Okay, Board Member Tatum will be joining shortly. He just texted. And if you're watching the live stream, just give us a few minutes as we wait for the rest of the board to join. We'll be starting shortly.
Hello, everybody. Apologies for my tardiness. Hope you're all doing all right on this, what turned into a very beautiful spring day.
Sure did.
All right. See lots of folks on the call. As far as board members go, I see you're here, Miss Brody. Christina, do you know if we're waiting on any other board members?
There's two on the committee. I just send them a message, so hopefully they will be joining soon.
Okay. Well, we can get started with a round of introductions at least. So welcome to this Family and Community Engagement Committee meeting of the Hartford Board of Education. Today is May 7th, 2026, and looking forward to hearing updates and discussing some of what we have going on here as we head towards the end of the last chapter, I guess, of the 2025-2026 school year. So my name is Stephen Tatum. I'm chair of this committee and member of the Hartford Board of Education. And I did not prepare a cute check-in question today, so I will, it's been a busy day. I will just leave it simple for today and maybe we'll have a check out at the end, depending on time. So if you could just share your name and your role briefly and then pass it off to the next person. I'll send it over to Tracy Avicoli.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tracy Avicoli. I'm the Director of Secondary Teaching and Learning, Hartford Public Schools. I'll pass it to Dr. Sacchi.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you all, Committee Chair Tatum, our board members, and all of you watching. My name is Dr. Al Sacchi. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning. Joining me are going to be a few colleagues, including Dr. Mario Carullo, who's our Director of Elementary Teaching and Learning at Hartford Public Schools. So if we could go ahead and present the slide.
We're just doing the introductions for everybody on the call. Sorry, Dr.
Oh, my
Sacchi.
Lord.
So Mario,
Sorry.
you might as well go next.
Mario, you're up next.
No worries. Good evening, Mario Carullo, Director of Elementary Teaching and Learning, and I will pass it to Keon Ritter.
Hi, I'm Keon Ritter. I'm a second grade teacher at Sanchez School. I'll just pass it to my right on my screen. That's Janelle.
Good evening, everyone. Janelle Hooker, Executive Director of the Office of Strategic Partnership and Fund Development for Hartford Public Schools. And I will hand it over to Mauricia Morris.
Good evening. My name is Mauricia Morris. I'm the Partnerships and Community Schools Manager for Hartford Public Schools. And I will pass it to Rie.
Good evening. I'm Ree Poirier-Campbell. I'm the Executive Director of Hartford Performs. Thanks for the opportunity to present to you tonight, and I will pass it along to my colleague, Emily Wineski.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Wineski. I'm the Programming Director for Hartford Performs. It's good to be here, and I'm going to pass it to Tracy Avicoli.
I already went, but I can pass it to Alejandro.
So sorry.
Thanks, Emily. No problem.
Sure. Alejandro Martinez, Family Outreach and Engagement Manager for the district. And I will transfer it over to Tiffany.
Hello, I'm Tiffany Ortiz, Family and Community Service Support Provider at Weaver High School. Now I'll pass it to Flor.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Flor de Hoyos, and I am the director of the Welcome Center, and I will pass it to Principal Lindsay Thompson.
Hi, good evening. Lindsay Thompson, the principal of Environmental Sciences Magnet School at Mary Hooker, and I will pass it off to Ms. Brody.
Good evening, but not really evening. Good afternoon to everyone. I'm Shantae Brody. I'm the chair of the Board of Education. And I don't know what name I did. Did Flor? Did you go? You see?
I believe it's
I know
just
Janelle.
Christina.
I pass it to Christine.
Christina Santiago, the board liaison for the district.
All right. Thank you for the introductions. Looking forward to hearing from all of you. Thanks for making the time this evening to share. First, I believe we're, as usual, going to hear some updates from the office from Janelle.
Yes. Thank you so much, Board Member Tatum. Good evening, everyone. And as we usually start our Family and Community Engagement Committee, we do a presentation of our to-do of activities at the district level for the month of May. So during the month of May, on May 2nd, we facilitated in collaboration with the Teachers Union, a Reading Opens the World book fair open to the community with an MLK school from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. On May 8th, we will be facilitating as a district the Hartford Public Schools STEM Show Fair. This will happen this year at Buckley High School from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. This is a shift from previous years where it has happened at the Armory. This year it's happening at Buckley High School. On May 12th, we will continue to facilitate our parent caregiver engagement panel, which is a monthly check-in with parents to share information that is new initiatives or things that are happening at the district level or across the city. This is a virtual meeting and it's open to all parents. It's from 4:30 to 5:15 on May 12th. And I share the link here on our to-do. On May 18th, we will have our monthly Hartford Public Schools partnership meeting, which is an opportunity to provide technical assistance to organizations that partner with the district. This happens at Connecticut State College's Capitol campus from 11 to 12:30 p.m. And on May 20th, there will be a North Hartford Ascend Pipeline community conversation facilitated at Milner School starting at 6 p.m. until 7:30 p.m. As usual, friendly reminder that on this slide, you can also find information of activities that are happening at your schools. On this section where Ms. Santiago is scrolling on, you will see these activities by zone. You can just click on it and be able to see what is happening at each one of the schools for the month of May. Thank you so much, Ms. Santiago. Next slide.
Actually, we're going to go into Hartford Performs right after this.
Yep. So after this slide, I think I'm handing it back to
Yeah.
Board.
But actually, Chair Tatum, if I might take a point of information, I don't know. at
Go
this
right
point.
ahead.
So while we're on the dates, the last item on the agenda is an update on the parent community policy pairing. What is it called?
The panel,
The
parent
panel.
caregiver engagement panel.
No, sorry, the policy.
Yes.
So the policy, the only update, and I might as well give the update now while we're talking about dates, is the only update I have for this committee at this point is that we are going to follow our current regulations on the current policy, and any update to a parent policy will be going through the PTO presidents. So look out for that date from Janelle's team, Ms. Hooker's team. So just wanted to give that update here. That is the only update we have. So I might as well do it while we're talking about dates. That the policy will be vetted through the parent, the PTO presidents. That's it.
And we're currently working on dates, so more information to come on that.
Yes.
Okay, I know that was on my radar as well, so thanks for that update.
No problem.
Okay, then. Next section of the agenda are reviewing some contracts that will be up for vote at the May regular meeting on May, whatever 10th, the third Tuesday falls in May. Starting with Hartford Performs. Always nice to see the familiar faces of Hartford Performs on the call, and look forward to hearing what you have to share with us today. But first, I guess to Dr. Sacchi, now you can begin your presentation.
Yes, and thank you, Committee Chair Tatum. I think I got overly excited to present, so I just sort of like dove in. So let's try this again. So again, I'm Al Sacchi, Assistant Superintendent for Teaching and Learning. And I am here with a few members from my team, as well as from Hartford Performs. Joining me tonight will be Dr. Mario Carullo, who's our Director of Elementary Teaching and Learning. And we do have principals and teachers and some folks who have experienced Hartford Performs this year, who we just like to share a little bit on that. Tonight, we're here to present two things. First, a progress report on this past year of our partnership with Hartford Performs. We want to share what we said would happen and what actually happened. And second, a request for next year for the amount of $314,000 contract, which is funded through the Alliance Grant for the 26-27 school year. Next slide, please. So here is our agenda for tonight. We have two items. The first is our 25-26 progress report. We made specific commitments to this board last September, and tonight we're going to report back on each of those items. The second item is our 2026-2027 contract request. We are seeking board approval of $314,000 contract funded through Alliance to continue our partnership with Hartford Performs for school year 26-27. For your reference, the board contract summary and the scope of services for 26-27 are both available in board docs. We'll reference them as we go along. I will now invite Dr. Mario Carullo to share some additional information. Dr. Carullo.
All right, good evening. So I want to take a moment before we get into the details of this contract to share something important about why we are here. At the top of this slide is our vision that every Hartford Public School student engages in copious, diverse learning experiences to discover their unique passions and to acquire the knowledge and skills to pursue those passions with courage and excellence. That vision is the standard against which we measure every single resource decision we make, including this one. Our four core values, courageous equity, relentless excellence, boundless passion, and connected community, define how we pursue that vision every day. And below them are the beliefs that drive everything we do in the Department of Elementary Teaching and Learning. Now look at the pink text boxes. Those are the 5 objectives of the Hartford Performs contract. And I want you to notice something. Every single one of them lives right alongside one of our beliefs. We believe every classroom has future artists, scientists, writers, and innovators who deserve diverse learning experiences to discover who they are. So this contract provides those diverse experiences through dance, music, theater, and visual arts, because discovering passion isn't an accident. It requires intentional opportunity. We believe learning to read is a civil right. So this contract builds background knowledge and vocabulary through arts-integrated experiences aligned directly to our Wit and Wisdom literacy curriculum. Because comprehension depends on knowledge, and arts experiences build knowledge in ways that text alone cannot. We believe effective instruction happens in joyful classroom communities. So this contract makes school more joyful, because we know that when students look forward to coming to school, they show up, they engage, and they learn. We believe teaching and learning has the power to disrupt inequities. So this contract guarantees equitable access to museums, theaters, and historic sites for every student in every one of our schools, because a child's access to rich learning experiences should never depend on which school they attend. And we believe that changing student outcomes requires continuously improving the adults who serve them. So this contract builds teacher capacity through professional learning, because Hartford Performs doesn't just serve our students, it makes our teachers better. This slide is the answer to the question why Hartford performs. Because this contract isn't a vendor relationship, it is a direct expression of who we are, what we believe, and what our students deserve. Every objective is intentional, and every Hartford student benefits. This slide grounds our contract in the science. The headline says it plainly: knowledge makes learning easier. To learn anything new, students connect it to what they already know. And the more they know about a topic, the better they can read, think, and write about it. Natalie Wexler, author of The Knowledge Gap, puts it this way: knowledge sticks best to other related knowledge, like Velcro. When Hartford Performs teaching artists deliver an arts-integrated experience on the same topic students are studying in Wit and Wisdom, they are loading that Velcro. Students arrive at the text already knowing, visually, kinesthetically, conversationally. That is exactly what this flow shows. Hartford Performs programs build knowledge and vocabulary simultaneously. With that foundation, students read more complex texts, they have ideas to write about, and they become better writers. Which brings us to this. When students know the content deeply, they write with more detail, evidence, and confidence. That is precisely what Wit and Wisdom tasks demand. Hartford Performs doesn't supplement our literacy work, it accelerates it. So who exactly is Hartford Performs? Hartford Performs is an arts education nonprofit that was created in 2009 at the direct request of our superintendent and board of education. They exist almost exclusively to serve Hartford Public Schools. That is not a figure of speech. It is their organizational purpose. Their core services include arts-integrated programs delivered by professional teaching artists, off-site experiences at museums, theaters, and historic sites like the Wadsworth Atheneum, the Bushnell, and the Connecticut Science Center, family literacy and engagement events, school assemblies, and arts-integrated professional learning for both elementary classroom teachers and unified arts teachers. Worth noting, for every dollar HPS invests, Hartford Performs adds more than $2 additional through grants and private funding. For example, in 25-26, we received over $1 million in services, even though we only paid $314,000. That is a significant amount of programs we otherwise could not provide our students. So before we talk about this coming year, let's look at what we promised for the 25-26 contract and what actually happened. Our first objective was to build background knowledge and vocabulary to strengthen reading comprehension. And we said we would measure that through Wit and Wisdom end of module assessment scores. The results are strong. Every single grade level showed improvement from 24-25 to 25-26. Kindergarten improved by 4.6 percentage points. Grade 2 and grade 4 both improved by 5 points. Grade 5 improved by 3.9 percentage points. All 6 grade levels moved in the right direction. Our second objective was to provide diverse learning experiences that help students discover their passions. We measured this by asking teachers what percentage of their students reported discovering something new that they enjoyed. With 142 teacher responses as of May 6th, approximately 60% of students discovered something new they enjoyed or wanted to learn more about as a result of a Hartford Performs program. 58% of teachers reported that 76 to 100% of their students had that experience. These are the same baselines we are targeting to improve in 26-27. Continuing our outcomes report, our third objective was equitable access to off-site experiences. The data here is remarkable. In 24-25, Hartford Performs delivered 66 off-site experiences. In 25-26, that number jumped to 178, a 170% increase. That includes the Stowe Center Assured Experience for grade 5 students, which many of you may remember from our earlier conversations. Our fourth objective was to make school more joyful and measure that through attendance. Our overall attendance rate this year is 91.1% compared to 91.0% at the same time last year, a continued positive trend. And our fifth objective was to enhance teacher capacity through arts-integrated professional learning. The results from our teacher survey are strong. 92% of responding teachers agreed or strongly agreed that they feel more confident applying arts-integrated strategies in their classrooms. 94% agreed they gained at least one new skill that they can apply. Across every objective we set, we can report meaningful progress. The 25-26 Hartford Performs Outcomes Overview will be shared with the Board of Education in July or August 2026. In the meantime, we have some additional preliminary outcomes to share with you. The 24-25 Hartford Performs Outcomes Overview is linked so you know what to expect this summer for school year 25-26. Joining us this evening is Ree, Executive Director of Hartford Performs. Ree, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Mario. And before I go into what we're seeing this year, I just want to reiterate a couple of points. First, Hartford Performs was created by the Hartford Board of Education and the larger community specifically to serve Hartford Public Schools. That is our genesis. That is our entire reason for being. And our mandate from the Board of Education from 2009 until now has been to aggregate the really extraordinary arts and cultural resources in our region and put them to work for Hartford Public School students in a way that amplifies the curriculum. And the other thing is we also serve an important role of easing the burden on teachers and staff to find and vet and coordinate and schedule and monitor programs that are produced by literally dozens of artists and arts organizations throughout the region. We invest heavily in technology and other tools to save teachers time and to streamline processes wherever we can. So this year, so what's happening this year? So far, we've completed about 75-80% of programs, and we are on track to completing 100% of programs booked by about June 12th. We are doing a great deal of programming in a whole bunch of different areas. Cultural assemblies, family engagement events, professional learning programs, the 9-week residencies we've been doing in our middle schools, and of course, the core arts integration programs that are kind of the meat of our work. And those are largely what you heard about earlier from Dr. Carullo. And the majority of those core arts integration programs were retooled this year specifically to align with Wit and Wisdom modules. We're doing almost 600 of those core arts integration programs this year and serving all pre-K to grade 5 students throughout the district and all of the grade 6 to 8 students in the K-8 schools. That amounts to about 1,800 hours. Just those core arts integration program amounts to about 1,800 hours worth of programming, which is 10 hours of every school day. So that's a pretty significant amount. We measure what we do every year, and every year we see strong outcomes across several key measures. So far this year, we're seeing a lot of success, as we usually do. Teachers are selecting programs aligned to the Wit and Wisdom modules, and they say our programs build their students' vocabulary, their interest in the subject matter, and their knowledge of the subject matter. Teachers also say that our programs support attendance, and they cite specific examples of the how and why of that. Most of our feedback does come from teachers, but we also ask our older students, our middle school students, specifically and directly about their experience with our programs, and they are very candid about their responses. About 86% so far this year say they learned a new skill participating in our program. And that's really critical for students who are about to go into high school and who are thinking about what their career paths might be. Learning a new skill is really important in that area. More than 2/3, 69%, say that they have discovered a new talent. And for adolescents, that building of self-confidence by discovering a new talent is really important. And then 73% said that they look forward to coming to class. When almost 2/3 of middle schoolers say that they look forward to coming to a class, you know that is a big win in anybody's book. We will have, as Dr. Carullo said, we'll have a complete report for you by the end of the year, but this is just a sample of what we're seeing so far this year.
Thank you. So in addition to the data, we want you to hear directly from the educators who experience this work firsthand. Joining us tonight is Kian Ritter, a grade 2 teacher at Sanchez Elementary School. Kian is here to share his experience with Hartford Performs this school year.
Hi, I'm Kian. I teach 2nd grade at Sanchez School. So I just wanted to kind of walk everybody through kind of what happens on our end. In the beginning of the year, you know, we're given our options to choose from. Harvard Performs has a huge, huge database of different art selections that we can choose from, and luckily they've got it tailored to all the modules so that we can check the modules that we want to try and link the performances to, so that makes it a little bit more digestible. So we were thinking about our different modules that we teach in Wit and Wisdom. We have 3 modules: A Season of Change, The American West, and then we also have Civil Rights Heroes. So we decided to first bring back one of our favorite artists from Hartford Performs that we've had. We've booked her the past, I think, 4 or 5 years, Meredith Arcari. She does a lot of visual arts with the kids, and we were just really thankful that her presentation linked with module 1, A Season of Change. And so her project was called Our Garden Grows, and that it was about how a flower changes throughout, you know, the course of the year. So I had emailed her, and I even asked her if she could specifically tailor her presentation to the kids specifically about the fall, and she was amazing. She got back to me and she was like, absolutely, we'll do that for you, you know, no problem at all. So she took my feedback and tailored it to what I needed her to do to help support the Wit and Wisdom curriculum even more than she already was. So basically the students explored the science of how flowers grow and change. Change is a huge, huge theme in all of 2nd grade Wit and Wisdom through all the modules. And then the kids were able to take what they learned and then make their own collages of flowers. So not only did they read a book with Meredith, they talked about the changes, and then they got to take home something beautiful that they created. For our Civil Rights Heroes unit, we went with a new artist this year. We went with Natasha Miles because she had a workshop that directly connected to module 3 about Ruby Bridges. It's called Adventures in Art, Ruby Bridges Escorted to School. Wit and Wisdom, for those of you that are not familiar, also incorporates art. And so there's a lot of different artwork or paintings, drawings, photographs, portraits, still lifes, all these different pieces of art that are built into the curriculum. And so we spend a few lessons talking about these different things. And in our Ruby Bridges arc of lessons, we look at an image of Ruby Bridges walking out of the school building. And so her presentation, Natasha's workshop, was focusing directly on that picture. So we purposefully planned to have her visit us after we had already read the core text about Ruby Bridges. So because the students already knew Ruby's story, they were ready to kind of dive deeper with Natasha. And it was nice because the kids had another person besides me talking about this historical figure, which I think kind of validated it too for them. So the first thing that she did was she let us photograph scavenger hunt, where they looked at the picture closely, they looked at the photograph closely, and they looked for details within the photograph to dive deeper into what Ruby was thinking and feeling at the time. Our Wit and Wisdom module 3 writing goals, the kids write narratives, and they have to explode the moment, where they need to add details about a character's thoughts and feelings. And they also need to explore first person writing. And so through all of that, the kids were able to kind of put themselves into Ruby's shoes with Natasha's help. And then they created these day in the life of Ruby Bridges booklets, and you can see them in the pictures there. Those are my little nuggets right there. And that's some of their work that you can see. And so after they created these booklets and Natasha was done with us, you know, over the next few days, we were working on our focusing question task, which is our really fancy word for their writing assignment connected to that. And because of Natasha and her work with the kids, they were really able to convey, excuse me, Ruby's thoughts and feelings within their writing assignment. So I also wanted to add one other thing that I initially hadn't planned to say, but last year with Hartford Performs, they also did a series of professional learning opportunities for teachers. It was the first year we implemented Wit and Wisdom, and I'm not an artist, so I don't really know what to look for in paintings and photographs. You know, I look at it and I think, oh, that's a really nice painting, but why? Like, what am I really looking at? And Hartford Performs led a series of workshops where they walked us through these different images and paintings so that we had a better understanding so that we could then turnkey it to our students. So that's kind of, that's my experience with Hartford Performs in connection with Wit and Wisdom.
Thank you, Kian. So the program he described, Ruby Bridges Escorted to School Photographs, is a powerful example of what curriculum-aligned arts integration looks like in practice. Students activated background knowledge from their Wit and Wisdom text, examined photographs closely and analytically, and then illustrated key moments in Ruby Bridges' story, making their thinking visible through art. In the timing, as Kian noted, was perfect. Students were about to write an exploded moment for their focusing question task, and the drawing process helped them add the kind of meaningful detail that strong writing requires. That is Hartford Performs working exactly as intended, not as an add-on, but as an accelerant for the literacy work already happening in the classroom. Also joining us tonight is Principal Lindsay Thompson from Environmental Sciences Magnet School at Mary Hooker, who also serves as her school's Hartford Performs site coordinator. Principal Thompson will share her perspective on the impact Hartford Performs has on the students and educators at ESM.
All right, good evening, everyone. So it's exciting to get to hear a teacher talk about this. Hartford Performs has been a great platform for our teachers to engage the students in the arts, but for their own learning as well. So this last year, our students have attended 9 different field trips or off-site programs or Hartford Performs, and 27 in-school programs. Those could consist of workshops or performances, school assemblies, and we've also done parent workshops. The teachers get to select programs, as was previously shared by the teacher, that is directly related to the learning that's happening in the classroom. The addition this year to aligning all of the programs to opportunities with Wit and Wisdom has been really great. Our teachers have gotten to see the students apply what they're learning in the classroom in a really new and different way, and in creative ways that they wouldn't have necessarily thought of themselves. It has also helped teachers create other opportunities beyond Hartford Performs experiences to be able to utilize different modalities of learning within the program of Wit and Wisdom. One of the things that I think is incredibly beneficial about an artist in residence type program or Hartford Performs is that students have access to high quality professional artists. So yes, they see teachers and they get experiences with other professions throughout their day or through their own personal life. But Hartford Performs specifically offers such high quality programming that our kids are able to see writers, poets, dancers, painters, people that are highly qualified in their professional right, who also have an interest in sharing that love with students. And that really has spiked some of their interest in professional careers in their future as well, which Rhea has shared. It also builds a lot of student confidence in interacting with the arts. One of the things that we've seen just the last few years, students are really hesitant to make mistakes. And so that might hold them back from trying new things or even sharing their ideas in a math class or social studies class. But Hartford Performs really has a no opt-out for our kids. So they might be in a salsa dance lesson and you have 6th grade students that are not so eager to participate in front of their peers up there dancing or leading the group with their class because they've been encouraged to try something new, and the environment that's set really really fosters trying, and it's okay to fail or to have to do it again or learn something new. Is really translated within the classroom. And then just speaking specifically about offsite programs, our students this year have gotten to attend different museums, but then specifically the symphony. That's something that all 4th grade students in the district have attended. And for a lot of our kids, this might be their first opportunity attending a professional production. It's also many of their opportunities, even if they have done that, to get to engage with artists themselves, ask questions. They're applying what they've learned in the classroom, to be analytical, critical thinkers, to ask questions about the arts and ask questions about professional careers. And the students, when they come back, are just raving about their experiences. So as a principal, it's been wonderful to see Hartford Performs. I've been at ESM now, this is my 10th year, and we've participated in the programming longer than that. And our teachers love it, our kids love it. And it's just another opportunity for them to utilize the lessons and the skills that they're learning in the classroom to apply beyond that. So we've really appreciated the opportunity to have Hartford Performs in our school.
Thank you so much, Principal Thompson. Hearing from the school leader who both oversees instruction and coordinates these programs firsthand is invaluable. So thank you. Now let's turn to what we are asking you to approve for the 26-27 school year. The contract amount is $314,000 funded entirely through the Alliance grant, but that $314,000 is only part of the story. Based on 25-26 services, the total program value delivered was $1,013,270. Because for every dollar HPS invests, Hartford Performs adds more than $2 additional through grants and private fundraising. That is a 3-to-1 funding leverage ratio. Here's what the contract provides. Consistent with previous years, for pre-K to grade 5 students, a minimum of 2 curriculum-aligned programs per student at $20 per student, plus additional programming at $2,000 per school, including on-site and off-site experiences. For middle grades, a redesigned model featuring multi-site sequential programs, off-site experiences, and curriculum-aligned projects that build collaboration and self-expression. District-wide arts-based professional learning for elementary and unified arts teachers, family literacy workshops, school assemblies, and full program coordination and monitoring. New for the 26-27 school year specifically, we have professional learning on art strategies to support student expression during emotionally challenging content, like grade 4's Revolutionary War and grade 2's Civil Rights units. A new video series on the art and wit and wisdom, tightened connections between Hartford Performs programs and specific wit and wisdom modules, and a consistent booking experience across all partnering museums and theaters. And one more number worth noting, 77 cents for every dollar Hartford Performs spends goes directly to programs, not administration or overhead. This is one of the things that I'm most excited about is, so we are very attentive of the diverse learning experiences our students have both in and out of the classroom. Next year, we will extend our guaranteed experiences from grades 3 through 5 to kindergarten through 5th grade. The Department of Elementary Teaching and Learning is building partnerships with community organizations to provide our students with meaningful off-site learning experiences that enrich our core curriculum. And Hartford Performs is serving as our liaison to bring these experiences to life by taking on much of the technical work of developing partnerships. For example, the grant funding, the scheduling, and et cetera. And new for 26-27, all district offsite experiences will be booked through Hartford Performs, which just makes it a streamless process for all of our teachers in all of our schools, for all of our experiences. These experiences serve multiple purposes. They build the background knowledge and vocabulary essential for reading comprehension. They provide diverse learning experiences that help students discover their passions, and they create the joyful, engaging experiences that define excellent elementary education. These partnerships ensure that all grade K-5 students have guaranteed field trip experiences, all fully funded through community partner grants and aligned to our Wit and Wisdom literacy curriculum. This ensures equitable access regardless of which school students attend, and it allows us to offer experiences at theaters, museums, concerts, interactive science learning that deepen content knowledge, build vocabulary, inspire discovery of passion, and make school more joyful. Hartford Public Schools only covers the costs for transportation for these experiences, which is approximately $8,000 per experience. This is what equitable access looks like, not aspirational, but guaranteed.
Okay, thank you, Mario, Mr. Reuter, Ree, and Principal Thompson for sharing. To summarize, what we're asking you to approve tonight is a $314,000 contract funded through our Alliance grant for Hartford Performs for the period of July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. This contract advances all 4 of our district's strategic priorities: whole and healthy students, expansive learning and opportunities, skilled and diverse teams, and operational and management excellence. It is managed by the Office of Teaching and Learning with Dr. Carrillo and myself as the Hartford Public Schools contract owners. We do have a 17-year partnership with Hartford Performs, designed specifically around our Hartford Public Schools curriculum and student needs. We currently have a 3-to-1 funding leverage ratio, like Mario was discussing, that builds on our $314,000 investment to give us over $1 million in programming. And at this point, Mario, Ree, Keon, Lindsay, and myself are available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Saki, and to the whole team. Love hearing all the different perspectives and voices represented. Just to be clear, we're not voting on this tonight. We're just discussing it, and it'll be up for approval at the next full board meeting, regular board meeting. So with that, open the floor to any questions from other board members, or I suppose anybody who has a question would like to ask about this opportunity. Mr. Estelle-Ledger, go ahead.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon, and thank you for the presentation. I have a question with regards to the contract year, since it would be July 1. It would start July 1. Since school would not be in session, and school would be starting in August, if you will, would you utilize that time, should the contract be approved, for perhaps planning with regards to looking at pacing with regards to the curriculum, to make sure that some of the dollars that are utilized through Hartford Performs would kind of align with the curriculum and benefit the students, especially those who are perhaps who may be struggling in certain areas?
Yeah, go ahead,
Yes,
Ree.
we have a lot of work to do every summer. We look at every program that we offer every summer. We make whatever tweaks we need to do. We work with the teaching artists who are delivering those programs to make sure they understand any changes in curriculum, any specific areas that we might want to be more focused on. This year, for instance, we'll be having a mandatory meeting with all of the teaching artists who are offering Wit and Wisdom programs, to make sure that they are explicit about their connections to Wit and Wisdom, so that they're not just aligning with it, but actually saying directly, and this relates to this book that you're reading or this skill that you're developing. So, and then we also have to retool our program database every year to make sure all the new programs are uploaded, that they all reflect any new alignments, and that they're ready to go by the time we release it to the teachers in August. So there's a lot of work that happens over every summer.
Thank you. And follow-up question, with regards to the curriculum, if there are some, not if, but being that there may be a disconnect, if you will, with regards to the cultural aspect of the curriculum as it relates to, a certain demographic in the city of Hartford. What are you planning, or what are you thinking about doing to kind of implement or increase that cultural competency piece, so that the students can really make a connection to the literature, and to
Francois, I'm not sure if I think the end of your question got cut off.
there.
We can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
I think we can hear you now. Yeah, just the very end of your question trailed off.
Okay. Sorry about that.
We heard
Were
the
you able
question
to hear my
about,
question?
we heard most of it. We heard that you were asking about the cultural competency piece and like how Hartford Performs is accounting for the fact that in some cases, like there might be a cultural barrier or disconnect between what's in the curriculum and the lived experience of our students. Was it something to that effect, or?
Yes, something to that effect. And what are they planning on doing with that so that they can make that connection?
So this is one of the advancements to the partnership that we're actually really excited about this year. Coupled with that is, so one of Rhea and Emily have been absolutely amazing as partners. So we have been working with the Stowe Center, the science, the Connecticut Science Center, to develop these experiences for our students to have these on-site experiences. And they have taken on the work of building the partnership where these organizations are applying for grants for our students, for our Hartford Public School students to attend, that cover all of our admissions costs. And from like a district leader, like that is all very time intensive work, and Rhea and Emily have just been doing all of that work. So the partnership's going through Hartford Performs, so really serving as a liaison. And so the connection I'm making to that is one of the partnerships we have is with the Stowe Center. And this year in November, what they will be facilitating for all of our teachers. So one of the things that we've heard through our implementation of Wit and Wisdom is some of the content is heavy. So in November, in grades 2 through 5, all of our teachers will experience a professional learning session facilitated by the Stowe Center, who are kind of experts in the field of having difficult conversations with students, on a framework to use for when you are engaging in challenging conversations with students. Then in February, Emily is actually designing a professional learning session. Emily, do you want to speak to it instead of me speaking to it as a follow-up with the arts integration? Emily, I'll let you take that.
Sure. Yeah, really excited digging into one of the books related to the Revolutionary War that has some pretty graphic details for fourth graders, and be leading a professional development on how to use a drama strategy in order for students to be able to process and engage in that literature from a literary standpoint, and understanding kind of the author's purpose and why that character needs to go through the experiences that they go through. By using drama, it allows the students to step into the character's shoes and create a little bit of distance between themselves, their personal self-experience, and experience it as a character would. And so modeling that tool and technique of using theater as a strategy for students to experience that and read and understand the importance of that material, rather than passing over it or perhaps skipping it because the content is sensitive or more difficult. It's giving an opportunity for students to process it in a way through a character's shoes. I hope that helps give some clarity.
Yeah, and thank you for that, Mario and Emily. And so yes, Ms. DeLegge, your question, yes, I think we can be as purposeful and intentional as we want in terms of creating those opportunities for students. Like Mr. Ruda was saying, the artists that come in, they take our feedback and they can make any adjustments based on the feedback that we are giving them, right? So in terms of incorporating more material, more content for dealing with issues that relate to our students, I think we can be very purposeful in how that is added into the experiences that they have. So yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Ms. Brody, I see your hand. Go ahead.
Yes. So I just wanted to comment that many, many moons ago when I was subbing. I think that Hartford Performs has always connected to the curriculum. Even, and that's well over 10 years ago. In the sense of, I remember the first grade class I had, the book that we were reading, and then even because Freddie Wish was a museum themed school, they even took it a step further in just a whole school experience, connecting to that, and also connecting to some of the I know the books that the first grade was using at the time. Like it was a particular stories that they brought to life much more better than someone who's not artsy in that sense. So I think I just wanted to add that it has always been directly connected, and even with my own child and her learning and her experiences, it has always been not something they understand exactly what's being presented to them and what they're learning, because they actually are doing it in the class. So I didn't want to let that not be said today.
And thank you, Board Chair Brody. And I think that's part of the power. And I like the term you used, artsy, right? I'm not artsy as well, but we do have the artists who can come and bring that content to life, right? And I think that's part of the power of what Hartford Perform brings. Thank you for sharing that.
If there are no other questions, I would just like to express my gratitude for the work of Hartford Performs, and I think it's a really important role that to play in an educational system that I think in the trends more broadly in our education system in this country, sadly has like kind of gone away from some of these connections to like real live artists that are engaged in doing their work. And it's been harder to for teachers to have the time and the ability to make some of those connections and incorporate them into their classrooms for lots of reasons. And I'm just grateful that Hartford students get this opportunity to see some of those connections and those ways that, yeah, I might be in English class or I might be reading a book, but like actually all these different arts will enhance my experience of my learning and just what it means to be a human being, you know. And I think we often get so caught up in the learning targets and you know, Mario Carullo, you did a wonderful job of giving us all the reasons and the data that shows that this makes sense. And also there's some stuff here that just can't be measured about how we find ourselves at home here in this world. And it's a hard world sometimes to find ourselves at home in, but the arts play a crucial role in that. So thank you. Yeah, thanks for joining the call. Feel free to hang out and see what else is going on. But if you're a Hartford Perform specialist, feel free to enjoy the rest of this nice longer evening. It's like light out until past 7:30 these days. It's pretty great. All right, so enjoy. Thanks again, and we'll look forward to more discussion and voting on this in a couple weeks. All right. Next up on the agenda, we are going to hear a preview of contract related to community schools work. Am I starting with Ms. Hooker?
Yes, sir.
All right, take it away.
Thank you. So wanted to use this opportunity to bring to your attention some potential contracts that may need to come to our board meeting in the month of June, because we don't have confirmation as of today, but I wanted to make sure I bring this to your attention. Next slide, please. These would be contracts that clearly ties into strategic priorities and objectives for our district, particularly strategic priority 1 and priority 2, which priority 1 is whole and healthy students, and priority 2 is expansive learning and opportunities. Next slide, please. So the federal grants that I wanted to provide an update on are as follow. So the North Hartford Ascend Pipeline, as we know, is a 5-year federal grant. We're currently in the last year of the grant. The grant calendar is not a school year calendar. It's not a school year calendar, but a regular calendar, meaning it's a January through December. We are in the process of finalizing with the fiduciary who is auditing to see what are the allowed funds that we have or that we would have access to for the last part of the grant. And in conversations with them around the contract that we would be able to do through that, which would be the lead organizations, the community schools lead organizations that are within the 5 schools and provide after-school program, as well as during the day program. Those are at SAND, WISH, and MLK. The organization that is a lead community-based there is The Village. At Milner, it's Catholic Charities, and at Weaver is Urban League. We are also in conversations for this particular federal grant for supports in the areas of summer programming, which I'll explain in a little bit, and professional development through the Relay organization, which is specific to school administrators and staff to ensure that data is at the core of decision-making, implementation of programs, as well as impact for students. These are contracts that would have a start date, should we get the green light, will have a start date in the month of July. The second federal grant that I wanted to give you an update on is the Full Service Community Schools. This was a grant that we, as a district, had previously received it through the federal government, 5-year grant as well, and we lost it in the month of December of 2025. The state of Connecticut has confirmed that this is a funding opportunity that they will be able to support for the 3 schools that got impacted by the federal funding being taken away. The 3 schools that would be funded under this grant, should we get the green light in the amounts, are MD Fox, MD Fox and Burr, which the partner at that organization is The Village, and Buckley. We would probably be looking for an organization to support at Buckley. Buckley currently has Center for Latino Progress as the organization that has a footprint there providing services. So that could be a potential because it's already there and understand the students, particularly around the work that we're looking to do. This funding, based on the conversations we're having with the state of Connecticut, would be available for us from January 2026 to June 30th, 2027. So we're currently in conversation of looking at what does 2026 look like, which would be January through June, and what are the things that we would be able to cover July 1st through June 30th of 2027. It also have pending under it the contracts with the community-based organizations, professional development for school administrator and teachers. And these would be contracts to start in the month of July, should we get the green light from the state of Connecticut. Under summer enrichment or summer programming, last month when we had the presentation of where we were with summer programming, there was a specific question around if the partners that we had were partners that we were funding, and at the time the answer was no. Here is an update that I would like to provide. I did mention that we had written a grant for the magnet schools for a middle school program. And in that particular grant, we had listed Catholic Charities and the Village as previous partners that we had last year to continue to do the service for the middle school program this coming summer. An update is that we did receive the grant. We were awarded a Magnet School Summer Grant, which within that grant, there will be a contracts for the two organizations to provide summer programming. I am pending approval for summer funding for enrichment opportunities for our students under the North Hartford Ascent Pipeline Grant and the Full Service Community School state funding as an opportunity to have a bigger number or larger number of slots of our students coming to early start to be able to participate in enrichment opportunities. So this would give us a full day program for summer should we get a green light on these federal grants. And as I repeat, these are contracts that would start in the month of July and go through the end of the school year. I wanted to open up for any questions at this time, as this is an update, or this is just putting it on your radar that I'm hoping that we get green lights and all of this so that our students have a really good opportunity of participating, and parents also have a little bit of relief, understanding or knowing that for summer, their children will be receiving not only academic services, but also enrichment wraparound services.
Thanks for those updates. Are there any questions? Janelle, could you just clarify, like when you say pending approval or hoping we'll get approval by whom for these opportunities?
Yes, great question. So the North Hartford Ascent Pipeline, while it's a federal grant, the fiduciary, meaning the organization that manages the money that comes from the Fed, is Connecticut Children. Connecticut Children is the middle person that would reach out to the federal government to see if this is something that we're able to do as part of the last year of the grant, as we didn't do it last year or in previous years. This is a request that we're doing for this year. Under the Full Service Community Schools, the request is directly with the State Department of Education, working with Miss Melissa. Oh my God, her last name is going off of my memory right now. Specifically to that funding is to mimic what we had as Full Service Community Schools, which did not have language specifically to the summer component. So this is a request to add the summer component to minimize the loss of learning of the students of these three schools. So I'm hoping that these are with rationale and explanations of why we're looking to do this is something that we're able to do and then be able to come and do the contracts.
Thanks for that clarification.
Yes, sir.
All right, if there are no further questions, I believe we'll be transitioning into our regular reports. Is this over to you, Alejandro?
Good evening, everyone. You could go to the next slide, Ms. Santiago. So wanted to provide everyone, as I usually do, a monthly update of where we are with Title I parental engagement funds. At this particular moment, we still have $10,093.62 available. Of the whole amount of the 121,781, 92,916.08 are already expended. $18,771.30 are currently in rec. And in regards to that $10,000 available, all schools and FCSSPs did put in orders to be processed for family engagement activities. We're still waiting for finance to process orders. As you know, it's the time of the year where things are just being processed to wrap up the year. So that number hopefully will be close to zero by the time we have our next meeting. In addition to that, in the month of April, we've had an addition of 23 workshops for families across the district at our schools, which that gives us a total of 204 workshops throughout the year. And a total of 769 events in collaboration with community partners. And that's our Title I, a summary of our Title I parental engagement report. With us this evening, we have our FCSSP, Ms. Tiffany Ortiz from Weaver High School. Tiffany?
Thank you, Alejandro. So like Mr. Martinez said, I am Tiffany Ortiz, FCSSP at Weaver High School. This year we are working to, or have been working to engage our high school families more in events and get them really to come out. And as it being my second year at Weaver, we do family fitness night. So we use some of our Title I funding to buy items to help promote fitness and health and wellness with our families. We had our back to school bash that really started to engage our families. We have done literacy nights. We had a paint night back in December to promote mental health and wellness. And a really big thing that we did for our families was bringing in a food pantry sponsored by Stop and Shop, so that we're able to help our families that struggle with that food insecurity. So we try to eliminate that, to remove that barrier, to allow families more engagement and allow our kids to come in. But yeah. Any questions?
Yeah, thanks for sharing some of what you've got going on. Any board members or staff members have questions? Mr. Stoliger, go ahead.
Thank you. And thank you for the presentation. I just wanted to, more of a comment than a question. I have seen Ms. Ortiz in action, working at, other locations and in Weaver, and I just want to give a kudos and a great shout out. You're doing an amazing job, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Any other, sorry that I'm on and off camera. I'm slightly multitasking, but you have my full attention. Any other questions? Yeah, Mr.
Can
Wilson.
I add, so correct me if I'm wrong, your literacy night, you brought in the Hartford Public Library, and students were able to get like library cards. I spoke to another staff member, because my daughter got her library card again that night, because I think you guys were like, sign up, and because I'm like, I'm outside, and she's like, I'm doing something. So that she had to do something, got the library card, and then but I heard that you guys, because it's high school and it's literacy night, parents be like, literacy night, that you're thinking about doing like a spoken word or something that. So I'm excited to see that coming up, just engaging, changing the agenda based on the student needs and how you can get engagement. I think a spoken word or poetry or whatever that is, I think that would really get you some great parental engagement.
Yes, this year we noticed the need for that. We started it last year and we had some engagement, and then we brought it back and brought in that aspect, and we realized doing more of maybe like a coffee house style spoken word, maybe not calling it a literacy night, but that's really what it is, and that's what we're trying to move towards. And the Hartford Public Library has been a community partner that works. They come out to our back to school bash. They came out to our trunk or treat. Anytime we call them, they are quick to come out and help. And I don't think our students realize the services that are there, that, you know, online Kindle, getting the library card and being able to use it on your phones is not necessarily just going to the library, but you have that option as well. So they've been a great partner to work with, and yeah, me and Ms. Starks are hoping to continuously expand on that opportunity for our students.
Yes, great job moving in the right direction. Thank you so much for serving in that capacity,
No
bringing
problem.
that to
Thank you.
students. Thank you.
While we're talking about the library, they've got their like full reopening coming up, I believe, June 1st. Or it's early June. I think it's June before this committee meets again, which will include a lot of spaces that I think would lend themselves well to all kinds of performance and engagement opportunities. So definitely glad to stay hip to what's going on there. Mr. Wilson, go ahead. I'm assuming, or did you raise your hand by mistake?
Nope, I had it up. You guys kind of touched on what I wanted to say, but I also wanted to bring to light and appreciate the partnership that you guys started with the female alumni of Weaver with that glow up event that you guys did. So I really think that was a very good, successful event based on, I stopped in and I kind of saw what was going on and how excited the young ladies were, going from booth to booth, meeting with the former Weaver alumni and some of the businesses that they've started, and sort of the message and the mentoring that can come from that. So I just wanted to lift that up and say thank you for partnering with them as well.
Thank you. Yes, we did, for what Mr. Wilson is touching on, we did a Glow Up Summit, which was for all of our girls and female staff in the building had a role, had a table. All of our girls took the day and got to meet with different alumni, interact with also different staff in the building in different ways, and it just be positive interaction and learning, you know, from hygiene to mental health to how to do your hair, you name it, it was all there. And we are also focusing on getting a boys summit as well. So we're not just focusing on our girls, we are working with the Urban League to put on a boys summit, hopefully soon before the end of the year. So.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for the work that you do to coordinate all of these opportunities for our students, working with families, working with SGCs, PTOs, holding down a lot of those different pieces of the puzzle that come together. So keep up the good work. And feel free to stay on for the rest of the meeting if you like, Ms. Ortiz, or feel free to hop off as well. All right, moving on with our SGC report.
Ms. Santiago, you could move over to the next slide. So I wish I had better news at this particular moment. And when I say better move, it's that our goal by this time of the year was to have all of our schools with a full SGC, the full 14 members. Our data this month did not change much. We still have 34 schools with full membership. Our parental membership is at 253, teacher membership 186, and community partnerships at 74. Even though there were not any changes to that data, I just want to say that in order for, as a district, for us to be at every single school at full membership, we were only missing 9 families, 4 teachers, and 2 community leaders, right? So if we look at the bigger picture, we've done a great job at the school level to make sure that we have our SGCs up and running, and making sure that we continue the efforts to fulfill those vacancies throughout the year. With that being said, I do have some updates for you all because we are already in the works for the 26-27 school year when it comes to School Governors Council. Our policy stated, and as I previously stated, that nominations and elections need to happen during the month of May, so that by July 1st, Things are already up and running where principals can meet with their SGC chairs so that they can start planning their meetings throughout the year, topics of conversations, make the dates public to the community so that not just the SGC members get to attend the meeting, so that everyone is able to attend. We've already provided a pacing guide to all school administrators to help them plan their actual school year already. And when deadlines are needed, as far as the dates when SGC rosters are due, dates of when we need the SGC meeting dates so that we can post them online and so that they can post them in the school's website as well. We have asked already every single school administrator in collaboration with their PTO and FCSSP to review their current SGC roster so that they can see or identify how many parents, teachers, or community leaders spots or slots they're going to need to recruit. As you all know, or for those of you that don't know, SGCs is a 2-year term. So if a parent happens to be moving at the end of the year, if a student happens to be graduating, the exact same with the teacher and the community leader, if there's some way transitioning out of the building, then those positions need to be up for elections for the upcoming school year. We did provide a deadline of May 22nd for us to have school administrators, FCSSP, to turn in their SGC rosters for the 26-27 school year so that we can also invite those families to our SGC showcase. In addition to that, be able to provide those new members or anyone else in the community an SGC training in June so that they can be all set and ready to go for the upcoming school year. In addition to that, because there's a lot of stuff happening with SGCs at this particular moment, right? I just want to note that I have received 35 out of the 38 SGC budget sign-off forms. And the budget sign-off forms is sign-off form 1 and 2. Budget sign form 1, it's when the SGC members are presented with the original budget of the school, and budget sign-off form 2, it's when the school's budget is actually finalized. So far I've received 35 out of the 38 sign-off. I did have a conversation with the 3 schools that I'm missing, which is Capital Prep, HMTCA, and University High. They've presented the budget to their SGCs. It's a matter of getting the signatures so that they can turn that information over to central office. And at this moment, I'll take any questions.
Being no questions, I thank you for the report and the hard work to keep us all accountable to those pieces. They're very important. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Tatum.
Over to you, Flora, your usual spot as the what's that called in baseball? What's the baseball metaphor? The cleanup hitter.
Yeah, I'm the cleanup hitter. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Flor de Hoyos, the director of the Welcome Center. I just want to remind everyone that the Welcome Center continues to be an essential bridge between families and school, because we want to ensure that every student's educational journey has the support, the dignity, and access to the resources needed. We are committed in creating a welcoming environment because we want all of our families to feel valued and heard. Just as a reminder, our work really strengthens the partnership between schools, families, and the community in helping students thrive academically and socially. And a last reminder also that the enrollment team is housed in the Welcome Center, so please come and visit us. The next slide, please. For the month of March, we had 505 intakes at the Welcome Center. To your left, the chart to your left, I'm going to give you the breakdown, the top 10 reasons. Transportation and homelessness tend to be always the highest. Safety transferred, followed by principal and staff intakes, special education, clothing, school records, safety issues, choice enrollment, and bus passes. Next slide. In the next slide, you can see that last year we had more intakes than we did this year. Last year, if you remember, there were a lot more fires going on in the city. And so this year we've been lucky enough not to have as many. And so we're happy about that. And then to the right side, so I gave you already the top 10 engagement services, and the 3 highest are highlighted there. I said transportation, displacement of family, and principal and staff with top 3. And then in as far of the school, the top 5 schools in elementary that we had some intakes were MD Fox with 35, West Middle School with 30, Wish with 17, Rosslyn with 13, and Sand with 12. For middle school, we had Milner with 9, McDonough with 8, MLK with 5, Burr with 4, and Balisi with 4. And for the high schools, we had 28 for Buckley, 22 for Weaver, 20 for Hartford Public High School, 7 for GPA, and 5 for Classical Magnet. And then others were for out of school district, out of district placement, I'm sorry, 128. And we had 12 new students enrolled for that month. And that month had also 61 students that were identified under McKinney-Vento. That tends to be our highest. As a reminder, on the right-hand side, the reports are sent to you ahead of time, but they are there. You can click on it and you can see the reports that we send you on a monthly basis. Next. For the Family Resources Center reports, Burns Latino serviced 1,367. Those included the social and support services, before and after care, adult learners, families and trainings, home visit, and educational programs. Freddie Wish had a total of 265, also social and support services, before and after care, educational programs, adult learners, and families and trainings. Rawson School had 239, also included the social and support services, adult learners. They had play groups, before and after care, and families in training. And for Sand, we had 251 in terms of services of people that we serve, students that we serve. And those included the social and support services, early childhood services, medical and mental health services, adult learners, and the housing, food, and clothing. And for Maria Sanchez, we had 936 serve, and those included aftercare services, families and training, school age activities, family activities, educational programs, and social and support services. And that wraps it up for the cleanup hitter here. Any questions?
Thanks, Flor. I didn't track any questions for myself. Ms. Brody, go ahead.
Yes, can you expound a little bit about all those out of district, that 100 and something number?
So they can be a combination of many things. All the homeless students that are out of district. And out of districts are the students that go either to the choice programs, to the suburban schools, also to the CREC schools, or any of the charter schools. So if those students become displaced because they are Hartford resident, we have to account for them. So that's where that number comes in. So not only for displacement, if there's complaints, if there's transportation questions, if they have any other questions that pertains to their schools. Typically, if it's a family that's calling about a complaint about a CREC school, I connect them then with the CREC school so that they can go directly through CREC or through CREC Welcome Center so that they can then help them with that. But the bigger number, why that number is so big, is because of the homeless and the supportive services we give. So even if they do not come to our school, if they come and say, hey, we need a hygiene kit, we will provide them with a hygiene kit. If they need coats, we will provide them with coats. They're still Hartford residents and we still support them. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I just wanted you to say all that purposefully.
Of course.
So to the listening audience, our staff services all of Hartford's children, not just the children we get funds for, but all of Hartford residents' children still receive services from Hartford Public Schools.
Absolutely.
Any further questions? Mr. Seliger, go ahead.
Thank you so much. And thank you for that presentation. A question I have with regards to the homeless piece. What is the greatest need that you find among, for the children, for the students, and for the pretty much for the children in Hartford?
So it's a combination of things. So when the family comes, they come because of the homelessness, right? But when you start digging a little through, is the mental health component that it really takes on the child. If the child is a little older, I've learned as I've been doing this, they tend to keep their mouth shut. They don't want their friends to know, and they're embarrassed. If the displacement was because of fire, it's kind of almost visible because then they go to school without their uniform. And so this is where we want them to come to us first or as soon as they possibly can so we can help them with that. So while I can say the most pressing and issue is being unhoused, when they are unhoused like in a motel, it becomes challenging for them. The transportation may change depending on how often they bounce from motel to motel. They're eating also, because if they're in a motel, they don't have the food that they would normally have at home, snacks, parents can't cook. And like I said, the uniform, so their clothing. And they're really, some of them are just too embarrassed to say anything. And this is why I always say, even though we have an account of our displacement family, I wholeheartedly believe that we do not have a clear number to our homeless families because we have parents that are too embarrassed to come forward to tell us. And so they don't seek further help. And then this is where you start seeing a lot of the absences for the children as well in the school. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. It does. Thank you so much. So one more question with regards to the food aspect. Do you still do I know there used to be the backpack program with there were, meals, different kinds of staples inside of those backpacks for the students to take home. Do you still do that?
What we do is we connect a lot of our students, right, with some of our schools have food pantries, and we connect them with that. I don't know. I think Janelle was going to respond to that.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that in terms of the backpack or taking items with them, the backpack per se is no longer in place, but all of the supplies that would be in a backpack is offered and provided to students. The challenge that we're seeing, and it's not now, it's been happening, is when you are housed at a motel, what you have access to is a microwave. So while we would want to give them items that they would be able to cook, the location where they reside during that transition period does not allow for things like that to occur. So the items that we're providing need to be in accordance to what they can do. So we also have been able to partner with different vendors or organizations. Sometimes during our report outs, we want to share the type of donations that we receive, because if we get any gift cards, we're always looking for something that is restaurants or places that they can eat in the surrounding areas of those motels or hotels for them to be able to access, because it's not as easy, right? So grocery store, and if you don't have a vehicle and you go grocery shopping and you need to walk to your hotel or your motel with all of your bags, it's also an add-on to the situation and the challenge. So there are different pieces that the team work with these families around to be able to try to support, as well as to try to find organizations or individuals that are looking to partner or provide support for this particular category. So I would love to use this time to share, if you're out there listening to our family and community engagement meeting today, and you are interested in partnering with us for individuals that are homeless or displaced, please reach out to the Welcome Center so that we can have conversations with you. And this particular area is a little more tricky because it's transportation is offered for students to come and go to school. Now, think about the weekend, think about, the evening, think about if they just want a snack. There is no actual transportation support that we can really give for those type of things, because the McKinney-Vento is around eradicating barriers for them to come to school. However, at the Welcome Center, because we're hearing all of the stories, we're trying to make sure that we're providing the services that can support all of the other layers and things that are not necessarily accounted for under the Act.
I would also like to add that our schools are amazing. And whenever they hear that we have a family that has been displaced, they absolutely step it up. And as a team and as a community, they come together and they buy like gift cards. If they know that the restaurant that's closest is a McDonald's or a Wendy's, they go and buy gift cards for that McDonald's or Wendy's. They also buy Walmart gift cards, and this is donations from like teachers. So this is just people coming together as people to give to their families. I mean, I had a family that told me the social worker keeps coming over on weekends and bringing us food because they know we're Latino, and where we're at, there's no Latino food. He cooks for us and brings us food. So that's just, from our hearts that the families are giving. So you can't put a price on that.
What a note to end on. Yeah. Yep, lots of work we do to raise up a community. All right, thank you all for joining and sharing about the work that you're all doing, tuning in. Thank you, board members, for your engagement, and we'll see you next time.